So today we will see about data modeling. So later I will tell you how to publish the data sources to the Tableau server and how to refresh it. So, but I missed one thing yesterday. So let me tell you that one. So if we are using databases, right, like MySQL database and Oracle database, or like a Snowflake, maybe GCP, Google Cloud Platform. So all these databases are can be accessed from anywhere in the world. Okay. So because of that reason, the Tableau server. So if you want to refresh these data sources in the Tableau server only, so what we have to do simply is we have to simply install the drivers in the Tableau server. So those drivers can be installed by Tableau admin person. We need not to bother about why, because that is the in Tableau desktop we have to install the drivers. Why? Because as a developer we have to install in the Tableau desktop. But in the Tableau server, server admin will take care of this. So, but finally, what is the thing is like, uh, as the MySQL database and all these databases are can be accessed from anywhere in the world. So we have to simply install the drivers in the Tableau server so that we can refresh in the Tableau server. But while we are dealing with the Excel files and CSV files, right? So assume that you have an Excel file in your local system. So if you have an Excel file in your local system that cannot be accessed by Tableau server for refresh purpose. If you want to refresh the Excel files and that Excel file is in your local system, then what we have to do is like that Tableau server cannot identify your local system. So that's why most of the time what we will do is in the real time when your data source is a Excel file or CSV files, we have to store the Excel files in the shared drive location. Okay, so shared drive location in the Tableau server, not in your local system. We have a Tableau server, right? In the Tableau server, we have a shared location. It will be there. In that location, you have to place your Excel files so that, like other databases, Excel files can also be refreshed by Tableau server itself. Okay, that is the first thing we have to remember. So this is very important when you're in the interview purpose. Some clients are specific about Excel files, how we can refresh the Excel files. They will ask you. So you can simply tell that we can place the Excel files in the Tableau server shared location. So if you place the Excel files in the shared location, right? So let me open that shared location. You will be seeing network option here, right? So same network option is available in the Tableau server also. So go to that network location and place your Excel files. And if you are given access, right, you can access those Excel files from this location in your local system also. Okay, hope you understand. And sometimes, so this is about shared drive location. And sometimes, maybe otherwise, you can use Excel files in the cloud also. For example, we have Google Sheets, we have SharePoint, right? So you can place your Excel files there also. So when you place your Excel files in the SharePoint in the Google Sheets, right, that can be accessed from anywhere in the world. That's why these can be refreshed by a Tableau server easily. But if you have your Excel files in your local system and still you want to still Tableau server want to come to your local system and want to access these Excel files, right? Then we have to install the Tableau bridge. So in the 10 years of experience, I haven't used this Tableau bridge, but some clients will use Tableau bridge when they are using Excel files. Okay. Let me repeat what is the use of the Tableau bridge here is I have a Excel file in my local system and Tableau I want to refresh this I want Tableau server to refresh these Excel files. In that case, we have to install a Tableau bridge in your local system. So just remember up to this is enough. And you can say in the interview that we haven't used it, but I have knowledge on this Tableau bridge and all this. Okay.
I have a question. So, do we ever used API to get the live data?
We have
Uh,
web data connectors will be there, I think. So live data means most of the time we'll be having our data in the database only. Sometimes if you want to get the data from the web data connectors like that, right? In the tableau you can see this one, this option, web data connectors. So what I remember, we haven't used this up till now, but what we can do in the web data connectors is like you can paste some URL here, URL in when you click on, okay, let me click on that option, data source, web data connectors. See, when you click on the web data connectors, it is asking you to enter the URL of the data sources or API, something like here. So you can paste your URL here and you can get the data. Otherwise, you can see here below options, you see build a connector, use a connector, like that. Those options are there. So we haven't used APIs and all those till now.
what about the SharePoint folder in the? Have you used SharePoint
Yeah,
folder?
we have used shared folder. So,
Okay.
so this is our local system, right? So just go to Tableau server where it is installed and place your Excel file there in that shared folder. So once you place your Excel file in the shared folder, just come to this. If you want to access that Excel file which is in the Tableau server, right? First you have to get, you should be given access. So once you are given access from your computer to your computer, then you can come to your this network place and you can access simply. So we use that one. That's why like I specifically mentioned that. So remember that point. We use that one in real time also. We can use that. When they ask you about APIs and all those, you can say we have web data connectors and all those options are there. We haven't worked on that, but we have those web data connectors are there, and we can do that thing. You can tell like that. Okay, now come to data modeling. So in the data modeling, first we have to remember things. So we have schemas, fact tables, and dimension tables. So I said you like we have tables, right? In the tables also we have two types of tables. We have fact tables and we have dimension tables. So what is the difference between fact table and dimension table? I will mainly tell you. Fact table can contain both measures and dimensions. Measures most of the times called facts. So measures also can be called facts. So fact table contains dimensions and measures both. Okay. And remember, fact table can have duplicate records. Okay. So what is the meaning of duplicate record? Means, for example, in the fact table, so it okay. Let me open the Excel file and take me the same data with that one sample data. So I'm just making it as a fact table. So whatever the tables we have used for the dashboard, developing the dashboard till now, those are fact tables. Why? Because those contains dimensions like region, category, all those, and measures also like sales, profit, like that. So here, for example, I'm taking, I have a person, and this person brought a product for some amount of sales. Okay. So assume that Venkat as a person bought some product P1, okay, and sales is 10 rupees. Assume that same person can Venkat may bought the product 2 for 20 rupees or something like that. So assume that there is one more person like person B. Okay, this is possible, right? Like we have person C. So this is a fact table. So this fact table contains dimensions. So this is the dimension. Okay, so this is a fact table. It contains dimensions like name and product, measures also like facts also, that is sales. So fact tables can contain duplicate records. Duplicate record means Venkat is the person repeating in two rows. So if you take any column, like there is a possibility for duplicate records, that is fine. So fact tables can contain duplicate records. So, and most of the time, what we do is in the real time, we will use the fact tables as a left table. Okay, we use the fact table as a left table. So let me tell you what is the meaning of it. So let's save this data. I'm going to my Tableau here. So connect to the new data source. See in the Tableau, we can duplicate the data source also. So this is the data source we are using yesterday, right? So just right click on that, simply click on the duplicate option. And want to tell you one more thing. As of now, it is an extract connection, right? So we have two types of connections, as I told you, live connection and extract connection. So we can easily switch between live connection and extract connection. We can change from live to extract and extract to live anytime. So how to do that means simply right click on this and uncheck the use extract button. Just simply uncheck this one. Now when you uncheck this one, you see it is changed to live connection again. But remember, if you want to extract the data again, based on the data size, it will take some amount of time, like maybe 30 minutes, 20 minutes, like that, as I told you in the yesterday, based on the data size. Now you can click on the simply edit data source option. So when you click on the edit data source option, what you can do with this data edit data source option, I will tell you. What you can do with this edit data source option means, okay, earlier I have connected to the development database. Now you can click on this one and you can change this connection information to QA server or production servers. So like you can change the connection information using this edit data source option. And the second thing, you can go to the data modeling page where you can modify the joins and all those. Okay. So that is the one option. If you want to go to the data modeling page, what is the other option is come to the bottom and here we can see data source button on the left side, bottom left side. So you can do anything. Yeah, you see, we come to the data modeling page. So for this data source, I have added one more table, fact table, right? You can see that fact table here. So I'm just removing the yesterday table. Just drag this fact table here. So this is the meaning of left table. So fact table we can use always as a left table. Fact tables always used as a left tables. So what are the data we have in that fact table? I can see all the data here. Okay. Okay. Now, in the real time, most of the cases, we will be having only one fact table. So if you want to build any dashboards, right, most of the time we can use only one fact table and multiple dimension tables. So we may use, I'm just showing for example, in the real time, if they ask in the interviews, if they ask you how many fact tables you are using and how many dimension tables you are using, you can say like that. I'm using one fact table. Fact table is compulsory, and you can say 5 dimension tables I'm using. Okay. They'll ask you what is the use of using the dimension table then. Okay, so based on the requirement only, we will be joining these dimension tables with this fact table. Okay, based on the requirement only, we can use the we can join the dimension tables with the fact table. Okay, what is the use of then what next question is what is the use of dimension tables here. Okay, so dimension table means like this, we have dimension tables. I have a region table. So region table is a dimension table. Just remember, dimension table contains only dimensions only. It contains only dimensions. So that's why I said region table contains maybe name information, name and region information. And remember, there should be at least one common column between the fact table and dimension tables. So we should have at least one common column. So like in the fact table, what is the name? What is the one column we have? Name column. So this name column we have in the region column also. We should have that in the region column also. Okay. And assume that we have one more table which is called like address column. I'm just telling you like that. And like that we have multiple dimension tables. Like otherwise you can say manager table. We have one more manager table. Okay. Like that we have multiple dimension tables. And when we bring the region table and when we join the region table with this fact table and when we join the manager table with this fact table. Simple. So while developing the dashboard, your CEO is asking that I want to know the information about this particular person. This person belongs to which region? Okay. So we have to display this person is coming from which region. So then we join the region table with this fact table. And we'll see, we'll ignore the other dimension tables. And in the same requirement, in the same dashboard development requirement, he is asking that for this particular person Venkat, who is the manager. In that case, what we do is we join the manager table with this fact table. So like that, which dimension they want, right? We go to that particular, we'll join that particular dimension table with this fact table like that. Okay. So each table will contain different information. So based on the information, what we need, we will bring the dimension table and we'll join the dimension table with the fact table. Okay. And remember that dimension table should not contain any duplicate records. So, okay, dimension table should not contain any duplicate records. So, for example, in some scenarios, if they contain duplicate records, right, what we do is we do the group, we use group by function and we eliminate the duplicate records. After that, after eliminating duplicate records, we'll join the table with the fact table. Okay. Otherwise, we get the duplicate records in the final output table. I'll explain you all this what I'm telling. Okay. Now just go to our again. Now just add one more sheet here. Let's make it as a region table. As I told you, region table is a dimension table. We should have a name column and we should have a region column. One. So here you see name column exists both in the region table and fact table here. Okay, what is the need of first joining the dimension table? I told you I want Venkat is from which dimension? Sorry, Venkat is from which region I want to know. In that case, we don't have region information here, right? That's why what I do is first I will see Venkat here, then I will go to region table. In the region table, I'll search for the Venkat record and Venkat is from India and Telangana. I can say like this. Okay. So what I will do, I'll come to this region table and okay, and I will see, okay, Venkat is from the India and Telangana region. So in that way, we can bring the region information for each and every person in the fact table. Okay. Now, as of now, in the region table, I have taken only one record only, that is Venkat record. And that is not a duplicate record here. That is a Venkat is repeating only in the one row only here. A bit later I will tell you what will happen if it is a duplicate record. Okay, as of now save this one, go to Tableau. You see if any changes in the database, right? So I have added one more table, but the table is not reflecting here. Then what I do, simply we have to refresh this connection. So simply click on this connection, refresh connection button. Now you see region table also comes here. Okay. Now we can drag this region table here and we can join the region table with the fact table. Okay. In the data modeling page, while joining these tables, uh, we can, so we have to, the first thing is we have to establish the connection between the fact table and dimension table. We have to establish the connection between dimension table and fact table. in how many ways we can establish the connection. So there are so many ways. Mainly we have joins concept, and we have relationships concept, and we have blending concept. So these three are similar way. Okay, these three are similar. So whatever we can do with joins, the same thing can be done with relationships, and the same thing can be done with the blending also. But the first preference we have to give like this. First, try to use the joins, and if there is no possibility for us to use the joins, and if the joins are sometimes producing duplicate records, then go for relationships. If the relationships are not possible, then go for blending concept like that. But we have limitations in each and everything, but all are using the all these three data modeling techniques, we can achieve the same requirement. Okay, so first let me use the joins. So if you go to joins, in the joins we will be having like four types of joins, mainly in Tableau. Tableau supports only these four types of joins. But you can write SQL also in the Tableau. Within Tableau, you can write SQL, and in this SQL, you can write other types of joins also, like like intersection, like that. You can use the within this SQL. You can use all those. But if you want to use the user interface, then it supports only these four types of joins: left join, inner join, left join, right join, full join. And if you go to relationships, in the relationships, uh, maybe I forgot to mention here. In the relationships, we have relationships like one to one to many to many, like that. And if you go to blending, right? Blending, in the blending supports only one type of join, that is called left join. Okay, blending supports only left join. In the interview, sometimes they will ask you what is the default joining type when you are using blending. You can say default joining is left join. You can say. So I mentioned here what is the basics and what is the limitations of that blending and all this I have mentioned here. But for now, what is our requirement? I want to bring the region information for each and every person. For example, for Venkat person, I want to bring the region information here. For that purpose, we have to uh, create some connection between the fact table and dimension table. For that, firstly, I'm using joins concept here. Later, we will come to relationships. First, I'm using joins concept. Why? Because when Tableau started, we have joins concept since Tableau started. But relationships are introduced in the 2022 version. Before 2022 version, we have only joins, unions, and blending concept only. We have all the concepts before 2022 except relationships. Relationships are introduced in the 2022 version in Tableau. Okay, remember this one. Okay, how to join the dimension region table with the fact table means simply you can double click on the fact table, or you can click on this drop down, simply click on the open button. So a window will be opened here. In this window, we already have fact table here. Now bring the region table here. Simply drag here. Now Tableau automatically, you see this symbol, right? Just click on this symbol. So here you can see four types of joins: inner join, left join, right join, full outer join. Okay. So let me briefly, so Tableau automatically, as I told you, if you want to join the two tables, we should have at least one common column. So you see, we have name column in the fact table, and we have the name column in the region table. So by default, column name is same, right? If the column name is same, Tableau automatically identifies those columns and it will establish the join condition like this. But if you want, you can keep this join as it is. Otherwise, you can come to this right side and you can simply click on this cross mark symbol to remove the join condition. You can use this button to expand this one, remove this column, remove this and you can use the what are the column you want, you can use that column here. So you can simply select the name column from the fact table and a name column from the region table. And if you want to join these two tables based on other column also, if you want to use other columns for joining purpose, you can go to the second row here, click on this drop down here, and you see you can select one more column here from the left table, and from the right table also you can do the same thing here. And so by default it is an inner join. You can make it left join, right join, full outer join based on your requirement. As of now, I'm using here inner join. Okay, what is the use of inner join here? What the inner join will do? You see, when I do the inner join, what happened here? We will get the common records from the both tables. So in fact table and in region table, we have some common records, right? So we are joining this based on the name column. Just remember this is important. Based on the name column, we are joining these two tables. So what the Tableau will do is, Tableau will go to the Tableau will go to the left table first, and it will see what is the common names between these two tables. So Venkat is the common person between fact table and the region table, right? That's why it will bring only Venkat records into the Tableau output table. So you see here, so this is the final output table, which is because of this inner join. In this inner join, it will bring the common records only. So as of now, Venkat is the common person between the both the tables. So that's why it brings only Venkat records here. It will ignore the other records in the fact table, and it will ignore the other records in the region table also. So now what I will do, you can go to any one sheet in the Tableau. So sheet 46 I am using here. If you want, so as we are joining the two tables, right, you can see the tables here also. So we have fact table here, and under fact table we can see some dimensions and measures. So under some dimensions, see the same fact table is repeating one more time here. So first time, in this first time it will show only dimensions here. In the second time below here it will show all the measures like sales and profit, like that. So this is happening when you use the joins. So when you're using joins concept, what will happen is fact table will repeat two times. In the above table, it will show all the dimensions in that table. In the below table, it will show all the measures of that particular table. So similarly, you can see region here. But region is repeating only one time here. Why? Because in the region table, we have only dimensions only. We don't have any measures in the region table. That's why we don't have that region table is repeating one more time here, because we don't have any measures here. Okay. Now you can bring the name from the fact table, and you see, I see only Venkat here. Why? Because in the final output table, we got only common records from the both the tables. And you can bring the sales here. And from the region table, you can bring the region information here, like this. So in this way, each different tables contains different information. So if you want to bring the different information in if you want to show the different information from the different tables into a single sheet, right? Then we go for giants concept, relationships concept, like that. Then we do the data modeling. They will ask you sometimes what is the need of joining the tables. They will ask you. You can say the same thing. Different information contains different tables. Like this information, you can explain. If you can explain this particular scenario also. So best thing I am telling you is whatever we are discussing in the class, you can repeat the same thing. You can take one, when they ask you the question, you can take some example like this, what we have done, and you can tell them. They'll ask you what is the need of joining the region table with the fact table. You can tell the same example. Okay. Okay. Give me some examples. So now go to the see now what is the total sales is for Venkat. What is the total sales? 30 here. Okay. So I will show you left join bit later, but I told you we will get duplicate records concept, right? Let me explain the duplicate record concept here. So first what will happen is, so to bring the common records information, okay. So first let me copy these two tables. Give me 1 second. Okay. So when you do the joins concept, what will happen in the real time? So I want to take these two tables into a separate table. Okay. Just paste your fact table here and paste your dimension table here, just to understand better how this joins concept works. Okay. So when you are joining these two tables based on the name column, right? So what the in the output table, how we'll get the output table? So first what the Tableau will do is, Tableau will take all the columns. Tableau will take all the columns from the left table and it will take all the columns from the right table in the output table. So first this is the headers we are getting. This is from the left table and right table both. We'll get all columns in the output table. Now how it will fetch the records? How will it fetch the record means, we are joining these two tables based on the name column, right? So what the Tableau will do is, Tableau will first go to the first record in the left table. We have a Venkat here. So Tableau will search for all the records in the right table. Whenever these two names are matching, right, then those records we will get in the output table. Okay. So in the left table, this record is Venkat is matching with this Venkat, right? So that's why what the Tableau will do is, Tableau will take this record from the left table and it will paste in the output here like this. Okay. Okay. Now first record is gone, right? We have compared the first record, right? Now Tableau will go to the second record in the left table and it will compare with this name with the again all the records in the right table. Now you see here it is matching. So what the Tableau will do is, Tableau will take this here from the left table and this will take from the right table and it will paste in the output like this. See, it will do something in the back end. Okay, now we are done with first record and second record. Tableau will go to the third record. And what is the third name here? B here. And it will try to compare with all the records in the table B. That is in the right table. So it is not matching. Here it is B and here it is Venkat. So it is not matching. So it is not the common record, right? We don't get any in the output. Similarly for C also. It will take this C record from the left table and it will try to compare with all the records. See, we don't have other records in the right table, but I'm just telling, if we have any records, it will try to compare that with all the records in the left table, right table. And if we did not find any common records, we don't get anything in the output. That's why as of now, we got only this output in the Tableau here. You see exact output in the Tableau also. You see exact output in the Tableau also. Okay. Now I will tell you what will happen. So just let me remove this entire thing. So as I told you, dimension table should not contain any duplicate records. For example, assume that there is a possibility for the Venkat to stay in the India only, but may he stay in the Andhra Pradesh also sometime. Assume that for some time, this person, Venkat person stayed in the Andhra Pradesh also. Now what will happen in the joins? So Tableau, what the Tableau will do? First Tableau go to the first record. It will compare this name is existed in all the records or not. So it will try to compare this name with all the records here. So how many records are matching in the right table? Two records. For one record in the left table, two records are matching in the right table. That is in the dimension table. So Tableau will bring these two records into the output here, corresponding to this one record. That's why you see for this particular record from the left table, This is the corresponding right table. Now we got this record one time in the left table, and we get the same record one more time also in the output table. Why? Because this record is matching with this second record also in the right table. That's why, because of that the reason, this 10 is repeating multiple times in the output here. That's why if the dimension table contains duplicate records, right, then this measure value also get duplicated two times. You see, it is getting two times here. So ideally, what I can say here is, in the right table, if we have duplicate records two times, then this measure sales is getting duplicated two times here. 2 into 10, 20 we will get in the output, two records. So if the right table contains two duplicated records, left table also get duplicated by two times, two records. If the right table contains the same Venkat 10 times, right? This measure is getting duplicated 10 times, 2 into or 10 into 10, we will get like that. Okay. So just to demonstrate you this, Control C, take the same duplicate record in the right table and just save it and go to the Tableau. Just simply refresh the connection. Now you see what happened. Venkat brought the product only one time only with 10 rupees. But because the right table contains duplicate records, because of that reason, this product information is repeating in the two rows here. You see 10 and 10 here like that. So if you go to Tableau sheet here, you can go to any sheet here. You see now 30 is repeating two times here. So if you want to see just like that, okay. So that's why we get the duplicate records in the Tableau sometimes. So we can eliminate these duplicate records. Just remember for now how to eliminate these duplicate records sometime is one of the option I told you. Is while before joining we have to eliminate the duplicate records, but sometimes we cannot do that because this person is repeating in multiple rows because of this person stayed in the multiple regions. And one of the concept we will use to eliminate the duplicate records is, just remember, include LOD function. I'm just telling the concept here. So how to eliminate the duplicate records using include LOD? The syntax is like that. Include, after include, which dimension you want to take. At which dimension we are getting duplicate records, take that dimension here. At Venkat level, we are getting duplicate records. So take here name. Name is the dimension, right? In the name we have Venkat. And take the average of all those records. Average of sales. So like this is how we can use the include function to eliminate the duplicate records. Just tell this concept to those people. Okay. So at which dimension level you are getting duplicate records, include all those dimensions in the include LOD and take the average of all those records here. So I'm not telling here. So it will take some more time. So this is how we get duplicate records in the Tableau. So but as for now, let me go to the Excel file and assume that we don't have any duplicate records in the region. Just do it. Assume that we have one more person also, person B also there, right? Person B also there. Assume that he is also from the India. Just save this information. Now we don't have any duplicate records like this, okay? And assume that in the region column we have other person also, person D also there. He is from US. Assume that. Okay, so I'm modifying the data here. So in which way I am modifying the data means I'm trying to take some common records in between both the tables. And you see, C is the person which existed only in the left table, not in the right table. So C is not there in the right table. And D is existed only in the right table, not in the left table. Okay, so that's why I'm taking some records here. I'm taking some common records like Venkat and B, and I'm taking some records which existed only in the left table, and I'm taking some records which existed only in the right table. It is like D. Now I have a scenario in the real time like this. Okay, just go to the data modeling page again, just refresh the connection. Just refresh the connection. Now what is happening is my requirement is like this. I want to get all the records from the left table. Okay, I want to get all the records from the left table and common records from the right table. That's why I can use the left join here. Simply click on the left join. What it will bring is, it will bring all the records from the left table. You see, if you want to confirm that this name is from the which table, you can see table name also here, fact table. Here you can see region table. Okay, so you can see name is appearing 2 times here. Name is appearing first time, name is appearing second time here. If you want to know it is coming from which table, you can see the table name also. This is the column name, this is the table name, this is the column name, this is the table name. So like that you can see column name and table name also. So in the real time, if you want to modify the column names and all those, right, you can simply click on this drop down here, ABC, right? ABC means what here? ABC means it is a string field. So just click on this drop down here and you can rename this column and you can reset name. You can copy the values. You can do the alias also. When you click on the alias, right, what will happen? You can rename this B to some other name like that. You can do that aliasing. And you can click on the ABC symbol also. When you click on the ABC symbol, what you can do? ABC means string, right? And if you want to change the data type, you can change the data type here itself if you want. You can change the data type to data or number whole, like that. You can change the data type also. Geographical and others. Okay. Now, sorry, we are using left join here. It will bring all the records from the left table and common records from the right table. So Venkat is the common between Venkat and person B is the common between the both the tables. And C is not there. C is existed in the left table only, not in the right table, right? So that's why as a C is not there in the right table, we get nulls here. Hope you are able to understand. Let me stop where you are not able to understand. If you understand this simple thing, it is very easy for you. So remember, as we are using left join here, we will get all the records from the left table and common records from the right table. So first we got all the records from the left table and only common records from the right table. Venkat and B is the common records from the right table. And C is not there in the right table. That's why we got nulls here. And see that we have a person D in the right table also. But we are not getting that D in the output here. Why? Because as it is a left table, it will give all the records from the left table only, not from the right table. From the right table, I can get only common records. Okay. If you want to get all the records from the right table, simply click on the right table here, right join here. Now I will get all the records from the right table and common records from the left table. You see, I got now B also, B, D also I got here. And Venkat and B is the common records from the left table. So I got all those records. But D existed only in the right table, not in the left table. That's why in the left table, I got nulls here. So these nulls are very useful for us in the real time for some scenarios. Okay. So you have to understand the concept. Now I can use a full outer join. When we want to go for full outer join means I want to get all the records from the left table and all the records from the right table. Like you see, I got D here, I got C here. C is existed only in the left table. That's why I see nulls here in the right table. D existed only in the right table. So that's why I got nulls in the left table. And common records Venkat like this. Okay, hope you understand. So these are the data modeling techniques. So we have a syntax for this also. How you so and remember one more thing. Or when you connect to specifically to the Excel files, when you connect to the Excel files, below you can see new union option, new table extension option. But for this, when you connect to the Excel files, we don't have one option here which is called custom SQL option. Custom SQL option is not there. So custom SQL option is available only for the databases. Like if you connect to MySQL database, along with this new union and new table extension option, along with these two, we will see one more option here that is called custom SQL option. That too, when you connect to the databases like MySQL, Oracle, all types of databases, maybe SAP HANA, Google BigQuery, Snowflake, Redshift, Amazon Redshift, you can connect to any table, any databases. You will be seeing one more option which is called custom SQL option. But when you connect to Excel files or CSV files, right, you don't see that custom SQL option here. Okay. So I want to write the syntax here, how you can join these two tables. Or what you do is you can simply go to the Google and see what is the syntax for joining the two tables using the custom SQL. So very simple. Let me write here just we are joining these two tables, right? What should be the syntax? So I'm just going to the notepad here. Actually, that is not important for now, but go to here. Simple. Select. We will use from statement. In the from statement, we will use fact table, right? First, we are using fact table. You can simply write fact table here. I want to do the inner join between these two tables. You can use simply inner join, and you can mention the region table and what is the condition you are using to join these two tables. So that condition we have to write here. So after on statement, you have to write condition. So from the fact table, which column you are taking? Table name dot column name. And from the region table, region dot name column. Okay. So first we have to write the table name, then we have to write the column name like this. So in the from statement, we have to simply use fact table, left table, inner join with right table, on condition, and what are the conditions you are using here. And assume that if you are using one more condition also here, like you can write and you can mention like the same conditions like this, like okay, but the name is different here. So like that you can join any number of tables. So first mention the table name with which table you want to join, right? You have to mention the table names here and column names like that. And for example, assume that I want to join one more table here. Assume that. Also, I can mention for that I will use left join also like this left join, like manager table. And so from the fact table you can see name here, and from the manager table like this you have to write like this simple, very simple. Okay. Okay, I think left table not here. Okay, what we can do here is like first we have to mention these two tables, then on condition. After that we have to mention this another table name, left join another table, then on condition. Okay, like this. So just let me make it bit arrangement here so that you can understand easily. Simple like this. So first we have to mention table one, inner join, right table, and on condition. Next another table, on condition. So this manager table I want to join with the fact table, right? So you have to mention fact table, column name, and manager like that. So in Tableau also, if you want to join one more table, right? Simple, just open this one. So for now, assume that drag the sheet one here. So sheet one, I want to join with this fact table, right? Then what you do? Simply click on this drop down here. Come to this drop down. You see, when you click on this drop down, I can see all the tables here. I can see fact table here, and I can see region table also here. So if we want to join this sheet one with the fact table, right? Select the field from the fact table. If we want to join the sheet one from the with the region table, right? Then select the column from the region name here. As of now, sheet one is joined with this fact table, right? I don't want to do like this. I want to join this sheet one with the fact region table. Then what I will do from the region table, I can select the name here. Now you see what happened. Now this sheet 1 is joined with this region table like this. So like this, we can modify joints and all those. So if you click on this drop down of the sheet, I can duplicate this. You see, if you want to duplicate this sheet 1 at this table, right, you can click on the duplicate and you can remove this like this. You can like, okay. And you can see some fields are in the first name in the Excel file like that. You can see some options. I don't want to go into that. Okay, so this is about all the joins and all those. Now, let me explain the relationship concept. So in the joins, I can see left join, right join, and all those, right? Remove that here. Now close this window. First drag the fact table here. Now drag the region table directly here. Without opening this fact table, don't double click on that. If you double click on that, you can see joins options. And don't do that, simply drag the fact table here. Now drag the region table directly here into this joining area. Now you see a solid line will be there. So this is nothing but relationships. So in the Tableau, we are having a concept like logical tables and physical tables. So see, this is one logical table, and this is one logical table. So between logical table, I can establish the relationships. And earlier we have done the joins concept, right? That those are nothing but physical tables. Between physical table, like if you open double click on this one, and if you drag any sheets here, I'll simply tell you fact table and sheet one are the physical tables. So for physical tables, we can establish the join condition and close this window. So here inside this fact table, we are joining multiple tables. Inside this this is the logical table. Inside this logical table, we have two more tables, that is fact table and sheet one. So those are physical tables, and for those physical tables, we are using the joins. So that's why you are seeing this symbol here. For this, we don't have that symbol because inside this logical table, we don't have any physical tables. So inside you are joining some physical tables, you can see this that symbol here. So you can remove this one here. So between physical tables, we can establish the joins, and between the logical tables, we can establish the relationships. So you can click on this drop down and you can rename this connection. You can rename this one also like that. Okay. And once you rename it, right, uh, say for example, you can rename it to like ABC also. So in the ABC, within ABC, you can use physical tables. Let me tell you again. So physical tables are fact tables and sheet one. If you close this window, within this ABC logical table, ABC is a logical table. Inside logical table ABC, we have fact table and sheet one. We are renaming that entire logical table to ABC. And you see this symbol here because multiple physical tables are joined. So you see this join symbol here. But for the region, so you can rename this region table also if you want. Okay. You can see here select relationship option will be there like that. Okay. Just one second. I'm just going back here. Okay. So this is how we can join. We can do there's a difference between the relationships and joins with respect to how we can make the data modeling. Now you see this solid line is there. Simply click on that solid line here. So when you click on the solid line here, unlike joins, you can see relationships here below. So you can see fact table here and you can see dimension table here. So from the fact table, you can select some columns here to join. From the fact table, right table, region table, you can select some dimensions here for joining purpose. Okay. So once you select the common columns between these two tables, now we have one option which is called performance option. When you click on the performance option, I can see cardinality here, and I can see cardinality here, and I can see referential integrity here. Under cardinality, I can select many are one option. and under right table also I can select many and one option. So this many is from the left table and this many is from the right table. So we have many one here and we have many and one here. So we will get four combinations: many to many to one, and one to many and one to one. And most of the time we will leave this as it is. Actually, you can leave this many to many only. And under referential integrity, you can see some records match option. You click on this drop down, all records match and all records like this. So this is all the data modeling techniques, but we don't use this one. But let me give you some overall idea how to select this. As per my knowledge, we haven't used it much here. But when you come to when we have to select many option here, when we have to select many option here is in the left table. If you see a person is repeating in multiple records, Venkat is repeating in multiple records, right? In the left table, that's why you can select many option here. And on the right table, when Venkat is repeating only one record only, right? So when you have duplicate records, you can select many option. If you don't have any duplicate records in that particular table, based on which column you are joining, then you can select one option. Okay, like that. So this will eliminate duplicate records. And here also you can do same. If you have multiple records here, duplicate records, you can select some records match or all records match option. Like all records, when you go for all records means, as per my knowledge, I'm saying here, I have I have 10 names, I have 10 persons in the left table, and I have all the 10 persons in the right table also. In that case, go for all records match. So this is as per my knowledge. We haven't used much this till now. Okay. Like based on that information, you can select some records match like this. Okay, just give me a second. So this is one of the main thing you have to consider when using the relationships. So most of the time you can ignore this cardinality and you can ignore this referential integrity. You see in the joins we see left join, right join like that. But in the relationships, I don't see that left join, right join like this. But how to get all the records from the left table and how to get all the records from the right table, like that we will see now. Without using left join, right join, how to get all the records from the left table, right table, we will see. Okay. Now go to anyone sheet in the tableau. Now you see these are relationships. As I told you earlier, when you're using relationships, unlike joins, in the joins, what happened earlier? In the joins, fact table is repeating two times. First time to show the dimensions and second time to show the measures. But when you're using relationships, in the relationships, fact table repeat only one time only. And you see this solid line here. Just above this solid line, we have dimensions. Just below this solid line, hash color line, we will see measures. And we have one more important column here, which is automatically generated count column. So this count column, when you bring this count column into the text here, what will happen is this count column will show how many records are there in the fact table. Similarly, we have the same count column from the region table also. When you just double click on this region count, so they will show the count of column records in the left table and right table like that. So Tableau will generate this automatically. Okay. Similarly, for the region table, you see this solid line here for the region table also, hash color solid line. Above this solid line, I can see all the dimensions. Below, I can see all the measures. Even though this region table is doesn't have any measures, still I see this. Still, count is the field which is automatically generated by Tableau. It is a measure. That's why I see the solid line symbol. And we have Tableau automatically generating two more columns here, which is called measure names and measure values. So very important. What is the use of measure names and measure values? Means simple. Measure names means measure names will give you all the measures in the all the tables. It will give you all the measure names in the all the tables. So drag the measure names into the row shelf. Initially, it won't show anything here. But when you drag the measure values into the text here, for example, now you see measure names are giving you all the measures here. Measure values are giving the values of all those measures. So measure names and measure values are which is automatically generated by Tableau. If you connect to any database or any table, these will be generated automatically. So Tableau totally will generate three columns automatically. One is count columns, and second is measure names. Third one is measure values. Okay, remember. Let me go to sheet 48. Okay, now now I am using relationships here between these two tables. Using these relationships, I want to get common records. I want to get all the records from the left table. I want to get all the records from the right table. Right table means right join, left join, all the records from the both tables. So very important this one. So if you are able to tell this answer in the interviews, right, this is a great advantage for you. If the other person is doing the interview who is known of these relationships, you have to answer this. So very toughest one as of now, it is a very toughest one. Why I am saying it is toughest one means this is a new feature introduced in the 2022 version. We are in now 2024 version. So since 2 years back only, these relationships are introduced here. We are in 2025. Okay. So because of that reason, most of the people are using joins only, not the relationships, because in the relationship they are getting confused, or maybe in the relationship they have not any requirement on the relationship like that. Because of that reason, most of the people are not much well known about these relationships at also. Even though they have 5 years of experience, 6 years of experience, 7 years of experience, also they are not aware of these relationships. Okay, just trying to repeat one more time. When we are using the relationships, we are not using left join, right join, inner join concept like joins. But still using relationships, I want to achieve all those requirements like what we do with the joins concept. Left join, right join, inner join like that. Okay. So first let me try with the inner join concept. So bring the name field from the fact table, drag the name into the row shelf. So relationships are very fast comparing to the joins here. Relationships are very fast comparing to the joins. You see what happened when I bring the name field from the fact table, it is showing all the names from the left table. That is all the records from the left table. Now we'll see what will happen if I bring the same name field from the right table. So when you bring the same name field from the right table into the row shelf, you see Tableau by default shows the inner join here. Tableau by default will show the common records here. So this is a this is inner join. How to achieve the inner join using relationship? Simple. Bring the name field from the left table. Bring the same name field from the right table into the row shelf or column shelf. Tableau by default will give you the common records. That is inner join. Okay. Now Now I want to get all the records from the left table. I want to bring all the records from the left table. In the left table, you have one more person called C, right? I want to show that record also here. In this case, so when you're using relationships, if you want to perform left join, right join, those type of things, remember, we have to use the any one measure from the left table. If you bring any one measure into the text here or column shelf or row shelf, right? That will perform as a left table. So for example, if you want to display all the records from the left table, okay, sorry. If you want to bring all the records from the left table, that is like left join, what we have to do is from the left table only, bring any one measure into the marks card here, that to into the text or detail shelf. Okay, let's do that. Bring the sales column into the text or into the detail shelf. Let's see what will happen. You see, When I bring the any measure into the left table from into the text or detail shelf, I can see all the records from the left table now. You see, I can see the person C also, but person C is not there in the right table, right? That's why I see null here. Similar to the joins concept, only left join concept. This is okay. Now from the right table, I am getting common records here. Now you see, you remember, right? In the left, in the right, in the region table, we have one more person also, person D also there, right? But I don't see that here. Now, if we want to see all the records from the right table, then what we have to do? Go to the right table, bring any one measure from the right table into the marks card detail shelf. Now you see, in this case, I got all the records from the right table also. All the records from the left table also. Person D also there now. So simple thing. If we want to bring all the records from the right table, that is if we want to perform right join using relationships, from the right table, bring any one measure into the text or detail shelf. So it will bring you all the records from the left table, right table. And it will, if you want to bring all the records from the left table, like fact table, from the fact table, bring any one measure into the detail shelf here. So it will bring all the records. If you remove this cells, which is from the left table, right? Now you see person C is gone now. Person C is gone now. Like that. Hope you understand. If you want to bring full outer join, then if you want to get all the records from the left table and all the records from the right table, bring any one measure from the left table and right table into this marks card here. Otherwise, if you are not using any record here, any measures in the sheet, by default it will show you the common records. So this is becoming very difficult in the real time. So ideally what I can say here is like, go for relationships. When you want to go for relationships means, if you have common records from the both the tables, right, then only go for the left join, then only go for the relationships. You have all the records. I have 10 persons in the left table and you have all the 10 persons in the right table, right? Then only go for the relationships. If you have 8 persons in the left table and you have 10 persons in the right table, then don't go for relationships. Okay, so there are common records in the both the tables, then only go for the relationships. Hope you understand. Till point this point of time is till this is enough in the real time. Okay, now observe one more thing. Observe one more difference between the left join and relationships and joins here. So in the joins, you remember, right, I showed you output is a, so based on the type of join you are using, the output table is a fixed one. So the output table contains left table as well as right table also in the joins concept. So just go through back to the video and see. But in the relationships, data will be stored separately in the separate tables. You see, when you click on the fact table, you can see all the information in the fact table. When you click on the region table, you can see all the records from the right table like this. Just give me a second. Okay, sorry. So you understood, right? In the joins, based on the type of join you are using, the output is fixed here. The output table is a fixed table here. But in the relationships, output is not fixed here. So in the relationships, it will bring all the records from the left table and right table in here in this joining area. You see, these are all the records in the left table. And if you click on the right table, you will see all the records from the right table. So in the relationships, what the Tableau will do is Tableau will store all the records from the left table and right table here in the relationships. But in the joins, what will happen? Based on the type of join, it will extract the data and it will store that records in the output table is a fixed table based on the type of join you are using. Because of that reason, in the joins, if you use inner joins and if you go to Tableau sheet, you can get only common records only. If you want to get all the left records right, you have to come again to the you have to change again it to the left join concept, and you have to again extract the data. That is in the joins, but in the relationships it won't happen. No need to extract again and again. You can simply do the relationship between the two tables. It will bring all the records from both the tables into the tableau. After that, based on your requirement, if you want to perform inner join, left join, right join, like that, based on your requirement, you can bring corresponding measures into the uh, text or detail shelf here. Okay, if you want to display measure into the measures, right, you can simply drag the sales into the text here. So you can see sales information here like that. Okay, hope you understand. So this is the reason for faster performance we are preferring relationships. So relationships is a bit confusing, not confusing thing. It is a bit difficult thing to implement left join thing, right join thing like that. But when there is the common records in the both the tables, the this is a very easiest one. Relationships are very faster comparing to the relation joins. Okay, why? Because in the joins, output table is already a fixed table. That is the that will bring the this will bring the uh, more number of columns and more number of rows into the output table in the joins. So I want to repeat one more time the advantage of relationships here. Relationships are very faster. Why? Because Tableau will completely ignore the relationships. For example, Tableau will completely ignore the region table here. When it will completely ignore the region table means if you want to build a dashboard completely, or if you want to build 5 sheets, sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, like that, if you want to create 3 sheets completely from the fact table only, right, then go for relationships. And in this case, Tableau will completely ignore the region table. In that way, Tableau will completely ignore the region table and it will consider only fact table only. Because of that reason, it is very faster. You see what will happen if you bring the name field from the fact table into the row shelf. Tableau will completely ignore the region table and it won't perform any relationships or any joins between these two. It will completely ignore the region table. Okay, as long as you are working with the only fact table, Tableau will completely ignore the region table data. And in that way, it is very faster. But it is not like that in the joins. Why? Because in the joins already performed in the backend itself. So even though you are bringing the region table, any field into the region table, Tableau will still consider the joins concept and it will consider the other tables also. Okay. So I can create the advantage of relationships is like this. When you bring any field into the from the region table into the row shelf, right? Then only it will perform the relationships between these two tables based on which relationships we are using, name, right? So we are doing this relationship between these two tables based on the name column. Okay. Okay, I think this is about this one. So you can tell the same example in the real time in the interviews or something like that. So relationships are very faster comparing to the okay. Now we have one more concept which is called, I want to tell you that one, which is called blending concept. Okay. So okay, just try to let me achieve the same thing with the blending concept also. Okay, let's go to Tableau. Sorry, time is more, but let me tell you this one thing here, and we'll close this one. Blending. See, I'm duplicating the same sheet, same data source two times. Duplicate the same data source. So you can rename this data source to left table or left data source. I can say left data source. Okay. So this left data source, I'm using it for the blending concept, and duplicate the same data source one more time. And rename this to right data source. So I'll close in a 5 minutes. Huh? Just I'll close in right data source. Okay. Now I have two data sources, left data source, right data source. First thing when we go for this blending concept is left data source is created from multiple tables. Assume that left data source is created from three tables. And right data source is also created from the three tables, or four tables, or five tables. In this case, we cannot directly join these two data sources. In this case, we cannot directly join these two data sources. Okay, assume that left data source is created with MySQL database, and right data source is created using Oracle database or Excel files. So in general, we can join these two data sources also directly without using blending concept. But if this data source contains three tables and this data source contains four or five tables, in this case we can't join these two data sources directly in the Tableau. Because of that reason, we are going for blending concept here. And one more reason is your left data source is a live connection. I'm just telling you different scenarios when we go for the blending concept. Left data source should be a live connection. Right data source should be a extract connection. In that case also, we have to go for this blending concept. Okay, what will happen is if you join directly these two tables, when you extract the data, all the tables will be extracted. But what is my requirement? One data source should be one table is live connection I want, one table I want to use as a extract connection. So this is not possible with the either joins or relationships concept. In this case also we go for the why, because I'm just telling you, if you go for any one of the joining condition here, if you go for the joining area here, yeah. So if you go for joining area here, what will happen is like you can move it to the you can swap these tables so that you can use the right table as a first table here, and you can see what will happen. Even though you can join these two tables or you can do the relationship between these two tables, both tables should be either live connection, or if you want to extract this, both tables should be either extract connection only. So in this, with this concept, we cannot make one table is live connection and one table is extract connection. We cannot maintain that thing here. Why? Because if you extract this, both tables will be extracted. If you go for live connection, both will be live connection only. So what I will do here is just remove the left table here, fact table here, and I want to make this as extract connection, write table. Okay, like that. Now I'm just going for any one of the sheet. So the data will be automatically extracted here when you go for, you see, executing the query here. So just remember the examples what I told you and do the same thing. Just repeat the same thing. So try to understand what I'm saying. You can do the practice, whatever you're practicing in the class, and deliver the same thing in the interviews also. You see, now the right table is a extract connection and the left table is a live connection. So I can go to left table and you can, in the left table, just modify the data sources. In the left table, I want to keep only fact table only here. You can use multiple connections here if you want, but you can use multiple data sources here. So multiple tables, just remove that one. So now itself I am telling you, now itself I am telling because I may forget bit later. So under connections, you are connected to one table here, right? That is Microsoft SQL Server. Sorry, Microsoft Excel I have connected. Okay. So from Microsoft Excel, I am using this fact table. Now I want to connect this Excel file with the MySQL database. Then what I do is simply go to the add option here. Simply click on the add option. Now select the data source here. Now you can select your data source, maybe MySQL. You can select MySQL here on another database. Let me show you that one. So there is a small thing only, like, so we have that. So you can use all these options, like you have to provide all this username and all those here. I will provide you this information to you a bit later. Okay. So just remember, when you click on the MySQL, I am directly getting this window here to enter the information. But if you are first time connecting, you have to install the MySQL drivers. Okay. Just click on OK, sign in. So just let me know you are not able to spend time now because it is already 8:15. You can continue tomorrow, not a problem. But just let me know if you are not able to continue the class. You see now, blue color is a Excel file, orange color is a MySQL database. Similarly, if you want to bring one more data source, like I want to connect these tables, I want to connect this fact table with Oracle table also. So then click on the add symbol and bring the Oracle. You can connect the Oracle database also. Now you see what happened. Just open the fact table here. So when you open the fact table, now you see for this fact table, I can see this blue color symbol here. That means this blue color is coming from this blue color data source. That is from the Excel file. Now you can click on the Oracle MySQL database, and from this you can bring any one table here. Just telling you, just showing you only. So yeah, now I'm not, like normal tables, you can select some joining conditions here and left join, right join, like that you can select here. But what I want to tell you this, you see, for this table, I see orange color here. That means this table is coming from the orange color data source, like MySQL database. Okay, like that. So the concept of joining tables, from multiple databases. One is from Excel file and one is from MySQL database. So joining tables from multiple data sources is possible in Tableau, and this concept is called cross database joins. Simple, cross database joins means we are joining tables from the multiple databases. That is nothing but a cross database joins. How to achieve cross database joins? First connect to any one database first, then click on the add symbol, then connect to one more database. Like simple. So if you want to remember all these concepts clearly, right, first you have to be perfect. First repeat what are, first try to remember what we are discussing in the class first. That is more than enough. Now you can remove this MySQL. You can remove that one. It's not a problem. Okay. Now you can see this red color ones. Our red color ones are coming from the right table earlier, but we removed that right table now. So we don't have those. Those are appearing in the red color. You can delete those ones. Okay. Now from the left table, bring the name into the row shelf. Bring the name into the row shelf. Now I want to show the connection info. I want to show Venkat is from which region. Now, if you want to bring the region information for these persons, so this region information is now we have in the another data source here, that is in the right data source. So if you want to establish the connection between the different data sources, right, then we do edit relationships concept. Like what how we can do here is directly go to the right data source here. Just click on the right data source. See, this blue color tick mark you see here, right? Now we are clicking on the right data source here, and from the right data source, bring the region into the row shelf. Let's see what will happen. Let's see what will happen when you bring the region table from the right data source. So remember one thing, blending is blending is we don't try to avoid blending in the real time. Why? Because blending is very slow. Performance is very poor with the blending concept. Now you see for the region field, I can see this orange color tick mark. So that is nothing but this is coming from the orange color data source. So for this name, I don't see any symbol here. That means this is coming from the blue color data source. And you see, when you drag the region into the row shelf here, I don't see anything here. I see here stars here. Remember, they will ask you this thing. So initially, without performing any relationship between these two data sources, and if you join the region field into the row shelf here directly, you will see the star symbol here. Always shows stars only, it will show you. But if you want to show the region name here, first what we have to do is first first establish the blending between the two data sources. So to establish the blending between the two data sources, what I will do here is in the menu option, go to the data option, go to the click on the edit blend relationships concept, blend relationships option. Now here I can see primary data source. Primary data source will act as a left table always. This is a left table. And I can see secondary data source. So I have so many data sources are there, but you can select a right data source here. So you can select the right data source, secondary data source here. After selecting first primary data source and after selecting secondary data source, we have two options. Automatic option is there, custom option is there. So Tableau will automatically identify the column names between these two data sources and it will populate those joins here. But if it is not performing those automatically, click on the custom option. And in the custom option, you can select fields manually here from the left table and from the left and right data sources, primary and text secondary data sources. Click on the add symbol. A window will be opened here. From the primary data source, select name here, and from the secondary data source, select name here. Okay, just click on OK. And you see, these two data sources are now joined with the help of name column. And if you want to join with one more column, click on again add symbol and you can repeat the process. Now click on OK. Now, even if you establish, yeah, it is established in the connection. Let it establish. Now you see when you do that thing, right? When you do that blending primary data source and secondary data source. Now you see here Venkat is from this region and B is from this India region. There is no information about C. That's why I see null here. Why? Because C is the person who existed only in the left table, not in the right table, like that. Okay. So and you can do some, and you do some calculations and all those, and you can, okay. Now you see what will happen once you establish the, once you do the blending between primary data source and secondary data source. Now, based on which column we are established that blending, based on the name column, right? So for name column, I can see this pin symbol here. For the name column in the secondary data source, I can see this pin symbol here. So when you click on this pin symbol, now you see, let's see what will happen. When you click on the pin symbol, now you see that that is gone now. Now you see for this, now you see this star marks again here, and this pin symbol again with this line like this. So when you see the stars here, and when you see the this pin symbol with this line, right, we have to remove this line. Then only these stars will be removed here. Okay. So just click on that symbol again one more time to remove that line here. Now you see that line is removed now. I can see only this symbol. Now I can see the regions here. So this blending is a, just try to practice what I said in the class. That is more than enough. Okay. So there are some limitations in the blending concept. So in the blending concept, what will happen is if you want to use any, so there are some limitations in the blending actually. So, but what is the advantage of blending? I will tell you. There are some advantages also with the blending concept here. What is the advantages here is, so in the sheet 49, I want to show the region information also of this person. That's why I can do the, I can form this blending between these two data sources. So this blending can be available only for this particular sheet only. In the sheet 49, I am using the blending concept. So this blending between the primary data source and second data source is available for this sheet only. If you go to one more sheet, for example, sheet 50, you see there is no blending between these two tables now, these two data sources now. Okay, now they are independent now. You can you can create this sheet entirely from the left table, this data source only. So, so blending concept is applicable only for those sheets only in which sheet you establish the blending primary data source and secondary data source. It is similar to the relationships also. Relationships also will be existed only for that particular sheet only. Okay, relationships also same. You see, I'm just telling you now about the relationships. The relationships also in this entire sheet you can use only fields from the left table only. So table will completely ignore the other table here, like this. So this is, so I told you the advantage of the blending, right? There are some disadvantages also. So from the left table only you can use the filters here. So primary data source is there, right? From the primary data source only you can use the uh, filters. If you want to show any filter in the Tableau dashboard, right? That filter should be from the primary data source only. Most of the time from the secondary data source, those filters you cannot display actually. You see, when you click on this field from the secondary data source, I don't see here an option called show filter option. Show filter option is not there here. You see, show filter option is not there. But if you go to primary data source, when you click on the name field, I can see show filter option is there. Okay, I can see show filter option is there. So there are some limitations with respect to filters. In the interviews, you can tell the same thing. You have some limitations with respect to the filters like that. Okay, from the right table, you don't see that show filter option is not there. But still, if you want to filter the data, right, drag it to the filter shape directly and select whatever you want to display in the sheet. Just like this. Click on OK, like that. Okay, you can do like you can do click on like that. After that, you can see show filter option is there. So this will not work but that much in the real time. Just remember these things. Okay, maybe tomorrow we will discuss about the other things. Okay, tomorrow we can discuss about, I think, union options and all those are very easy. So tomorrow we will see uh, union option and append option in Tableau. Okay, anyone have any question? That's all from my side today.